Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play. And who will be playing tomorrow in the Celebration Bowl? The North Carolina Central University Eagles and the Jackson State University Tigers. We are here in our Atlanta studios ready to break it all down with you guys. I am Symone Stanley, joined by the lovely Tolly Carr.
Lovely?
You can't be lovely?
Okay, I'll take it.
And Josh Sims, host of HBCU Nightly on Twitter, former North Carolina Central Eagle football player.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And a super stan of the Eagles, so nobody better to have in today to talk about this game.
Super stan?
Do you not?
No, I take that. That's a good.
Because you're always talking about them on Twitter.
Yeah, I try. Somebody's got to talk about it. Somebody got to talk
squad.
That's Stan.
It's only right. It's only right.
Stan.
Thank you guys for having me. For real, man. I appreciate it.
Of course. So let's talk about how these two teams got here. Jackson State University went undefeated this season. A lot of people probably placed those bets after the way they recruited this offseason. The North Carolina Central University Eagles won the MEAC. They went 9-2. This season, overall, they went 4-1 in the conference, sharing the conference title with Howard University Bison.
Yeah.
But you guys,
A 28-point co-champ. It's okay. We'll take it.
But you guys are the one who's representing this weekend in the Celebration Bowl.
Absolutely.
So at what point in this season, Josh, did you feel like your Eagles had it?
Yeah, I mean, there was two moments this season that I could kind of pinpoint. The first one started right at the beginning of the season. Charlotte, North Carolina this year, Aggie Eagle Classic, the 100th Aggie Eagle Classic. And the big question for us was which North Carolina Central team was going to show up in that game. I had sold so many Wolf tickets for a person who's not going to play the game, right? So all of my eligibility was up. But that very first game of the season against A&T, gave us a clear understanding of which North Carolina Central team we had this year and the type of team we were going to have this year. And it was always going to start right there at that quarterback position. So by seeing Davius Richard in that first game of the season, gave us a clear indicator of what type of team we would have this season. Then the second game that I would say that was really a big indicator for us was against Morgan State, national televised game, Thursday night, right there in the Eagles' nest. And Morgan State at that time, if anybody remembers, man, they were on fire. They had just gotten another FCS victory, non-conference FCS victory. And so I thought that game was going to be a big indicator as to what type of team we were going to have going into MEAC play. And lo and behold, we showed up that night, really played a full and complete game. Offensively, we were really nonstop. Defensively, we did what we needed to do. And our young DBs, man, showed up that night. That night, our young DBs really showed who they were going to be. And we honestly felt like that game was what was going to carry us through the MEAC season.
And it did just that. Now, Tolly, we have been covering Jackson State for a long time here at HBCU Gameday, and especially last season on their road to the Celebration Bowl. They got stunned by South Carolina State University.
They did.
They're back in the same position this year. What do you think has changed the most from the Tigers that we saw last December in ATL to the Tigers that we might see tomorrow?
I think the offense is the biggest thing, right? Because they really had to revamp that offensive line because that was the difference in last year's game in the Celebration Bowl against South Carolina State. They were able to get that pressure up front. They were able to create turnovers. And the South Carolina State offense wasn't doing that great in the first half.
That's true.
They could not move the ball.
Good.
But once they got that short field, that changed the game. And that was because of the pressure their defensive line was able to create. But Coach Sanders and his crew really came together, revamped that offensive line. The running game is even more solid, so Shedeur Sanders really has all of the weapons that he needs to take this offense potentially to a Celebration Bowl victory in year two, something they didn't do in year one.
So both of these teams have a chance to win their first Celebration Bowl tomorrow. And the Eagles have a chance to win their first game against Jackson State. The team has matched up against Jackson State University only 3 times in history. Shout out to Tolly for that history nugget.
I just passed. I wasn't there at the game. I mean, they haven't played since what,
1987.
87, yeah, 87.
I was alive, but I wasn't at the game.
I don't know, but you passed me that nugget, so I'm going to give you your props.
Shout out to Kyle Serpent. Kyle sent it to me, the greatest SID in the game. I just passed it on to the
Super
team.
Cal, man.
So, Josh, one thing I like and respect about you and why I had to have you on the show today, you are a fan, maybe not a stan. You didn't like that word when I called you that earlier.
That's okay. That's okay. My feelings aren't hurt.
You are a fan and former player for the Eagles, but you're someone who just loves football, and you pretty much been watching all the marquee games this season across HBCU football.
Absolutely.
When you look at the Jackson State Tigers, what do you see? What scares you or worries you the most about this team?
Man, this team is really as balanced as I would see a superstar team be. Starting on the offensive side of the ball, Shedeur Sanders is smart. He's incredibly intelligent. His ability to kind of see what's going on between the eyes and process information faster than I've probably seen an 18, 19, or 20-year-old be able to process information that fast.
He's a
on
pro.
the field.
He's a professional quarterback.
He's a professional quarterback, for sure. He's definitely put in his 10,000 hours, for sure. But I think it also comes down to he takes what the defense gives him. A defense has a responsibility to take something away, and rightfully so. That means you're going to give something up. And Shedeur is perfectly fine with taking what you're willing to give up. And he's shown all season long that offense has the ability to win games by taking what the defense gives them. On the defensive side of the ball, you're talking about a stingy bunch. These guys really, really like to get after it. And it starts on those ends and the edge rushers for them. Interior-wise, man, it's always about Aubrey Miller. Aubrey Miller is an incredible Mike linebacker. He really can float inside of each gap. He can play inside the gap. They can step him up and send him to the blitz. And then on the back end, those DBs are incredible. They like to be on the island. They like to be one-on-one. They believe that if they get their hands on you, that you're not going to be able to make a play. They want to take everything from up under to over the top of the ball, and they're even willing to take a risk to see if you can beat them one time over the top. But that's not going to happen a lot. It comes far and few between. So this is a very balanced team, and then you sprinkle in the fact that they have a great kicker this year. That was a big thing for me last year for them. This is a really good team last year. Just couldn't figure it out in the kicking game last year. Sprinkle in Mata. I think they call him C-Senor. This kid is incredible, man. I don't think he's
Automata.
Automata, man. He's automatic, for real. So you sprinkle all of those components together. That's a great recipe for a really good team and really great team. But we're going to find out tomorrow if they're really a great team.
Did you watch the Alabama A&M Jackson State game? Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
Did you?
I did.
The one thing that they did that it didn't ultimately lead in success, but it was interesting how they changed their pre-snap look on defense.
Absolutely.
They would be in one formation right before the snap, go to the snap, boom, everybody shifted. Did you take any notes, visual notes watching that game?
I did. I felt like that was a wrinkle that DT sprinkled in at the perfect time of the season. Normally, when you get to around that time of the season, defenses are who they are. What you see on film is what you should expect to see. At a certain point, some defensive coordinators, if they're very, very intelligent, which we know Dennis Thurman is top of the line. I mean, I'm a huge fan of DT's ability to coach a defense and really kind of teach principles and morals on the defensive side of the ball. What you saw in that game against Alabama A&M was his saying, listen, I don't want any offense to feel like they've got us numbered. They've got us figured out. So let me put some changes in here. Let me put some differentiation in here. Let me put 4 guys in. Let me put 4 down linemen down. Let me put 6 guys in the box. Let me put 5 guys in the box. Let me shift from 5 guys in the box to 6 guys. Let me roll a safety down. These are all things that we should expect to see from a very, very smart and intelligent defensive coordinator. So I definitely saw it. Definitely was a fan of it. And I'm pretty sure we'll see if Matt Leone has picked up on it too. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So Jackson State was in a couple of close games this season, and you were talking about it Tuesday night on HBCU Nightly on Twitter. What do you think Coach Trey Oliver and the Eagles can take away from those close games that Jackson was in?
It's MEAC football. You get a chance to see MEAC football on full display. We beat each other up in the MEAC. I mean, it's just the God honest truth. Even when we think about the teams who have left, some of those teams who left were not very successful in the MEAC because we beat up on each other. It's a punch you in the mouth, hard, rough, and tough version and style of football. And so what we saw in some of those games, relatively speaking, without kind of giving so much away, is we saw some teams be willing to punch Jackson State in the mouth. The difference was those teams did not have a requisite offense to be able to do what I like to say, once you punch them in the mouth, you got to be able to come back with an offense that can lead with a hook. They didn't have the offense to be able to lead and circle back with a hook. The best game I've seen on film this year as far as defensively was against Alabama State. Alabama State's defense, if they had an offense, may have been a little bit closer of a game. But once you get down to the second half, Tolly, as you know, Symone, as you know, you've got to put some points on the board. You can talk about defense all you want to, and defense can play great. But at some point, you got to put some points on the board. So.
Symone, let's talk about points. Numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie, children lie. Numbers don't lie.
That's what Jay said.
We'll take a look at the North Carolina Central numbers here. We'll get those up on the screen for you. These are two high-scoring offenses.
Yes.
Like, both of these teams can. You look right here, North Carolina Central. How important is it? These are stats where they lead the FCS in football.
Wow.
How important is converting on third down? They're the best at it.
Man, that is an incredible stat, man. To lead the FCS in third down conversion. Obviously, you know, football is a game of drives. Your ability to sustain those drives on third down means a lot. You know, really being able to stay ahead of the chains, as we say in the game. First and second down, you put yourself in a position to be able to do something. But even in certain situations we saw this season, North Carolina Central kind of put themselves in some tough situations on first and second down, maybe through penalties. Even though they did finish the season against Tennessee State without any penalties. But in most situations, you're going to be penalized in some games. Can you get yourself out of that situation? And third down is usually when you're going to get yourself out of the situation. So that's an incredible stat. That's incredible. And most great teams must be able to convert third downs into first downs to keep drives going.
And defensively, Symone, we saw on the screen, they lead the FCS in the red zone defense. Look, it's kind of hard to stop somebody once they get in the red zone, but not every single time will people score on North Carolina Central. I know you're an Eagles fan. You like that defense they play up there.
Right, I like that a lot. But let's talk about the third down conversions. How much of that is because of Davius Richards' ability to be a dual threat and not knowing what the Eagles are going to do on third down?
Yeah, I've talked in length about Shedeur Sanders and his ability to play the quarterback position. His arm talent is something we've probably never seen, probably since Steve McNair. But Davius Richards is the most dynamic dual threat quarterback in the country right now. When you look at his ability to be able to throw the ball and convert in small spaces and really be able to make throws on the run, off away from his throwing arm, his ability to utilize his mechanics, and then his ability to see what's going on and then make a decision on the start is incredible. And that's a third down conversion. If it's third and short, can your quarterback make the decision and say, should I throw it right now or should I just tuck it and run? And then we've seen how dynamic he is when he tucks the ball and runs. So he's a smart kid, man. He's incredibly smart. He's intelligent. And only the second quarterback in school history to go for 2,000 yards passing in back-to-back season since the great Air Harvey.
Can't deny that. The numbers don't lie.
Let's take a look at some more numbers. We're talking about these two quarterbacks. They're the two best quarterbacks in HBCU football. This is what Richard is doing with this Eagle offense. Now, they lead the MEAC 38.4 points per game. Josh, it's a lot of points, man.
A lot of points.
46 out of 10 games? Like,
I know. That's a lot.
You get a hot dog, a soda, and your money's worth when you see that many points.
I don't know if I can do that on Madden, Charlie. I don't know if I can do that on Madden. As much as I would try, I don't think I can put those numbers up.
They set a couple of single
Maybe if you're playing as Davius on Madden, maybe not.
We got to get him on Madden.
Right.
We got to get him there.
Wow. One of those stats had their third quarter points as a single season school record. I think they've scored 99 points in the third quarter, and you see what they've done total offense. A lot of times, the team that makes the better adjustment and is able to come out strong in that third quarter can be an advantage.
Halftime adjustments. Coaches are literally paid. Contracts are extended. Offers are made on coaches' ability to make halftime adjustments. One of the things that we don't talk a lot about is the players' ability to make that halftime adjustment. North Carolina Central has unhandedly become a second half team. I'm concerned about that going into this game, even though that's an incredible stat. We don't want to get into this game. North Carolina Central shouldn't want to come into this game and expect that a big-time second half can be able to get them out of a hole. We talked about this in length on HBCU Nightly about how that can end up being a problematic issue for them in a game like this with a high-powered offense like they have at Jackson State. But it is. School record is a school record. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And to see that is incredible. And to see the halftime adjustments that this team has made is incredible as well.
I think we might need to see those JSU numbers.
Right, we getting a little too heavy on Central here. I can see them in the comments right now, Tolly. I thought this was a pregame show for both teams.
They will tell you what to say in the comments. All right, so we saw that Central led a couple of categories in FCS football. Jackson State leads a lot. These are numbers that they lead the entire FCS in statistics. You look at scoring defense, total defense, passing defense, third down conversions allowed, fewest first downs allowed, sacks per game, total sacks. All right, you said everything about the North Carolina Central offense. That's the defense they got to go up against.
It's an incredible defense. I mean, good gracious alive, man. Where do we start? This is a defense that, and I said it at the beginning, that this is a very stingy, very aggressive defense. They will take 80% of your game away. And Dennis Thurman's number one philosophy is, as long as I don't let you in the end zone, you can't beat me. I know what I have on the other side of the ball, and I know that kid between his eyes is going to tear everybody else to pieces. How do you even come close to playing against that? That defense works very, very similar to what you would normally see on the NFL defense. And that's a kudos and credit to the staff that Coach Sanders put together there in Jackson, Mississippi. And it starts with Coach Thurman. Coach Thurman's philosophy is what spearheads that, and then those players' ability to respond to that philosophy has obviously beat great results.
Two sides of the ball.
Right.
That Jackson State defense is killer.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the Jackson State Tiger offense and see what they do to you statistically. Both teams. I mean, it's like
right. It's really similar on offense because scoring offense about 38 points per game. Central was about 38 points per game on average.
Yeah, a little better passing team. A little more of what they go to in their bag. I think we'll talk about this more later in the show. But Davius runs a little more than Shedeur.
A lot more.
The thing when you talk about professional quarterbacks, you look at that completion percentage, man, it is right there at 70%. That is one that you look at as a coach, as a fan, and you get excited about a percentage that high.
Absolutely. That's a pro percentage. Anything above 63, 62%, you're definitely happy. I mean, most coaches are cool with 60% or higher. We're talking about somebody who's 7 out of his 10 passes he's going to complete. That is incredible. And in this philosophy, Brett Bartolone brings to Jackson State, you have to figure that throughout a 4-quarter game, if I can complete 7 out of my 10 passes for 4 quarters, I'm pretty sure most of those are going to end up in the end zone. So Shedeur has shown he has the ability to throw touchdowns, not throw very many interceptions, not make very many mistakes. And that is based off his philosophy and this kid's ability to be able to see what's going on, take what the defense gives him, and then take advantage of some opportunities over the top.
I can't wait to see Symone's prediction.
Okay, I'm still sticking to what I said.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
You gave it away.
I just said I can't wait to see it. That's all I said.
But Josh, when you look at that, how do you see the Eagles being able to slow that down or stop that?
Well, I mean, defensive coordinator Courtney Cord has a very simple philosophy as well. And then the first thing that I like to highlight is that he has the most experience of all of these coordinators in this game. Nobody has more Celebration Bowl experience than Courtney Cord does. He won multiple Celebration Bowls at North Carolina A&T. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But
don't be a hater, Josh.
I'm sorry.
Don't be a hater, because they got their bowl wins.
They do. And I met one of their greats today, Tariq Cohen. We had a great conversation. But nonetheless, Courtney Cord's philosophy is simple. I'm going to give up something. This is football. You're going to give up something. If what I give up can beat me, then I'm going to change. Then I'm going to take away what I don't believe can be able to beat me. And so the reality is Coach Cord recognizes that this is a high-powered offense. All expansive words of it. This is high-powered. This is premier college football at its best. It's very, very potent. And so he's going to have to figure out what does he want to take away. Now, one of the key things here is we've got a former All-American back healthy, 100%, in 1801 Fayetteville Street, and we're glad to have him back. I won't say his name yet, so everybody get a chance to see him when he's back on Saturday.
A lot of secrets here.
I am. I just like to keep the suspense in the show,
you
man.
acting like me and Tolly gonna be on coaching Jackson State or something.
Listen, I got a lot of love.
I got Neely on line 1. Right
Neely?
Oh,
okay,
his real name is Wilton?
No, I was lying, Simone. You just gave it away.
You just put somebody on black. But
that's our homeboy Wilton.
But to that offense, as far as how do we stop that offense? You got to figure out whatever you're gonna take away, stick to that, and hope that it doesn't beat you. I'm obviously confident that Coach Cord is gonna be able to get it done.
So let me ask you this: we're gonna get into the quarterback breakdowns because the quarterbacks are the superstars in this game. Davius Richard, fire. Shedeur Sanders, fire. We're going to get into that. We're also going to get into the sound bites from the coaches today. But I want to ask you this, Josh. The only team that Jackson State has played and Central has played this season is Campbell University.
Mm-hmm. And we
know it's all matchups. You can't just look at, Jackson State beat Campbell. Campbell beat Central.
And one was home. Jackson had them at home.
Yes.
Central played them at Campbell.
Absolutely.
Yes, and y'all had some injuries in that game. But that's been a narrative I've seen floating around HBCU Twitter, spaces, comments. A lot of people think, oh, Campbell beat Central and Jackson beat Campbell. That means Jackson gonna beat Central. Yeah. What do you say to that?
Where my camera? Where my hand is?
That's America right there. That's America.
Keep watching that film. Okay? Watch it 100 times between today and 12 o'clock kickoff tomorrow, and I promise you that the team that you saw in that game is not going to be the team you're going to see tomorrow. I have no way of being able to help America and everybody in the HBCU world to understand it better than that, Tolly. To understand it better than that.
Because you were fighting for your life in the Twitter space with that whole Campbell debate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great, if we're utilizing this as a space and opportunity for us to be able to say, here's a mutual opponent.
Yes.
Can we try to figure out what type of team North Carolina Central is? Because we may or may not have seen this team all season. I would say, look at the Campbell game. But if you really, really want to know what team you're getting ready to see tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I would say you got 3 films you probably want to watch. Game against New Hampshire, game against Morgan, game against A&T. You watch all 3 of those films, I promise you'll know what team this is. And that's not a fight that I can win, man. I'm done fighting that.
You just can't
I'm done fighting that. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them.
Who wins on Twitter?
Nobody wins. Elon Musk wins.
He had to buy it to win. All right, so we've heard from all of us. Let's hear from your guy, Trey Oliver. He spoke earlier today. North Carolina Central was there. Jackson State was there. We had all the coaches.
Josh was there.
Josh was there.
Neely was there, and I hear.
Neely, she's giving it to you, man. Neely, Symone wanted you here so bad.
Neely's so great. I just wanted him on here so bad.
But let's hear from a guy. He's pretty good on the mic. This is Trey Oliver, head coach, North Carolina Central University. His thoughts on the season, the game, a few sound bites from earlier today, right here on HBCU Game Day.
Is there any difference between the MEAC and the SWAC as far as facilities or coaching or football?
Ooh, yeah, it's quite a bit of difference. I had an opportunity to coach at Grambling State University, okay? And this was in the last years of Coach Eddie Robinson. And that was an unbelievable experience. The pride and tradition to wear the G, meant something. And to be able to see all the former alums from the Dougs, the Shaq Harris, the Albert Lewises, and all those guys come through there, that was something. And I really, you read about them and hear about them and all that stuff, but when you get out and have an opportunity to experience it, and that was when they opened up the Eddie Robinson Museum. So I'm somewhat of a historian when it comes to Black College. And I was really appreciative of that opportunity to be at Grambling State University. Came back, I've been at Delaware State, I've been at North Carolina A&T. I was the defensive coordinator at Southern University. Another opportunity, down in Baton Rouge, Jag Nation is something, man. And them folks travel, and they gonna pack it. I don't care where you are in the SWAC. Them folks travel, and it's an unbelievable experience, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I think that somewhat of a difference in the MEAC, and just with all due respect, I think we're a little more progressive just across the board. When you have Google and IBM and the Research Triangle Park and Duke University 7 minutes away and University of North Carolina 15 minutes away, the Raleigh-Durham area is just a little different than, with all due respect, the reservation of Alcorn. You know what I'm saying? They play outstanding ball there, and you go there, it's a hard place to play. But it's just a whole completely different experience. But as far as football is concerned, that's an outstanding conference. And I enjoyed every minute up there, and the experience I had are like none other. I think the brand of football here, we play, I think, a physical brand of football. I think the coaches in our conference and just how it's always been, I think our approach to the game has been somewhat a little more low-key, I guess I could say, a little more humble. When you have the Joe Taylors, the Rod Broadways, the Bill Hayes, all those type guys right there, it was just a little different dynamics, I guess, with the approach to the game. I think both conferences are well coached, but I'm not a big social media guy unless it comes to recruiting. So you're not going to see a whole lot of Coach Oliver on social media. I'll tweet and retweet a little bit to push the program, but, that's not me, and that's not my personality. So we don't do a whole lot of talking. At North Carolina Central University, we let our work speak for itself.
Hey, Coach Oliver, good morning. Congratulations. I'm Bill Roden with Landscape.
Thank you.
Just curious, what do you think are the advantages of, I've spoken to some ADs, they talk about the 1AA playoffs and participating in that. What is the advantage you see of participating in a Celebration Bowl type of venue as opposed to competing against a larger field in the playoffs?
I don't even understand why we would even be having that discussion. When you talk about the money that's involved with this, you're going to lose money playing in the playoffs. The travel. And then, it's no. The exposure, who's left right now? Do you know? Exactly. But they know who's playing tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon. And it's going to be millions and millions of people watching. And you could put all those playoff games together and viewership-wise and put up against this one game, and it's not going to be close. So the bag that Dr. Perkins is about to walk home with this weekend, it's going to be something. So I don't even think this is, I wouldn't even have that entertain that conversation with all the exposure and stuff we getting from this bowl game. And not to mention how it helps with recruiting.
It is all about the money, right?
Absolutely.
He said, yeah, you can keep your playoffs.
Right. Money and viewership.
Yes, and recruiting, as well. But my takeaways from that, North Carolina Central is not going to do a lot of talking. No. They're maybe not as a freestyle, ad-libbing, let's show you everything team. There's nothing wrong about that. There's multiple ways that you can do it. So they're going to be a little more low-key. And the one thing that Jackson State and North Carolina Central that they do have in common, they are all about the Celebration Bowl. They're all about the check, all about the exposure. I can't argue with that. Did anybody see what that FCS playoff looked like
No.
in the stands?
I didn't even know.
Looked a little unhealthy, baby. Yeah.
It's gonna be lit at the Benz.
It's gonna be much better than that. I did get a chance to kind of get a glimpse of what I saw at the FCS playoffs, and tomorrow at 12 o'clock, man, it is going to be electric. It's sold out from what I've heard. This season, we started off the season against A&T in an electric environment as well, downtown Charlotte at the Bank of America Stadium. And so to end the season in a similar environment, similar opportunity, we've approached the game the same way all season long. We were talking about it off camera about just kind of the approach. And it is very intentional. It's very, very intentional. It's a return back to who we've always been. North Carolina Central has never been flashy. We've never been loud. We've never been boisterous. We've never been rah, rah, rah. We've always let the work do the talking for us. And this team is very rested into that idea and that concept. So we're looking forward to being able to perform in front of a sold-out stadium yesterday, millions of viewers on television tomorrow on ABC. And so we'll get a chance to show the world who we really are.
Look, this is our IG queen over here. You like you like it when people are talking. You like when there's a lot going on. You like that engagement. Do you like this approach from North Carolina Central?
I love this approach from North Carolina Central. The underdog usually has to take that approach too, letting the game talk. Because no matter what they say, as Josh probably knows, fighting for his life on the internet, defending his Eagles, people are all, no matter what you say, they're going to say Jackson State by 40. They're not even going to listen to what you're saying. So you just got to, as the underdog, you have to just let your game talk. And that's what the Eagles have been doing all season long. As you know, Tolly, in our preseason poll, we didn't include the Eagles.
I had to take the heat for that, too.
Somebody does.
I had to interview Trey, and he's like, oh, yeah.
And we've been hearing about it all season long. And what did they do?
I think I voted for him. Y'all over there, the people you don't even see, didn't vote for him, and I took the heat.
But
yeah, team player, right?
They have been getting slept on all season long. This isn't anything new to North Carolina Central. And like he said about recruiting, the Celebration Bowl is huge for recruiting. Like Buddy Pugh said last year, how winning the Celebration Bowl, how his phone line was blowing up more than ever, and being able to bring recruits to this game, seeing Mercedes-Benz lit and popping. There's nothing more you can do recruiting-wise than that.
Well, speaking of phones blowing up and recruiting, Deion Sanders' phone has been blowing up from Colorado to Jackson.
Both lines. He said, I got 2 phones, one for JSU, one for Colorado.
Yeah, he is literally 2 phones, 2 hats. It is what it is, to quote Coach Sanders. He was at Media Day today. Of course, a lot of people were going to ask him about, hey, man, you're at Colorado, you're at Jackson State. You know, how's that working? Is it hard? Yada, yada, yada. He talked about that. He talked about the Celebration Bowl and potentially winning it in the town that he is most famous for, Atlanta, Georgia. Let's catch Coach Prime from earlier today at Media Day.
I wanted to ask, what was the reaction when you brought up to Colorado that you did want to finish these 2 weeks? Because I think probably ideally Colorado wants you focused on Colorado.
No, it wasn't a reaction. It wasn't even a conversation. I think they knew how I felt, and they knew my heart, and they knew you got to finish. You got to finish. You got to. I think they admire finishing what you started. That's very admirable. And Rick never even brought it up to me. We never even discussed, because it was we knew what time it was in that regards, that we were going to finish what we started. I can't tell a child to finish what he started, and I'm not. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Kate Rogerson from ABC 11 in Raleigh. What impresses you about this Central team, and what have you noticed from them on tape?
Well coached, very consistent, very capable. Quarterback can do some phenomenal things. They don't give up a lot of points in the red zone. They're able to be stout. But in saying that, we see some things that we could take advantage of as well. But they're not here by mistake. They're 9-2, and they did a wonderful job in the MEAC. We just got to go out there and do what we do. And when we're doing what we're doing, I don't think anybody could deal with us.
Right here.
Yes.
Joe Cook, 16 WAPT. Coach, I just wanted to know how you guys gone about the preparation with you going to Colorado and TC being elevated. Excuse me. Have you guys, is it business as usual? Does TC get more say? How have you guys kind of navigated that?
TC is elevated to be the head coach of next season. Should I drop the mic on that? I'm still here, partner. I'm still here. You know, I'm still here. That's not a discussion. Everybody know what time it is, man. You know what time it is. Come on. I'm not just hanging around, just biding time, just watching my sons. No. I still do what I do, and we do what we do really well. So I'm going to try to guide the ship and right this ship and win this ship, okay? Then after that, we're going to pass that back to TC, and he going to do the doggone thing and pick right up where we left off. That's how it goes down.
Very back, Coach.
Yes.
Coach Kevin McClendon from the Sports Shot Radio. Quick question. Congratulations on all your success and everything that you've done. One of the questions I have is quick moment of reflection. Your time at Jackson State University, what's been your fondest memory, your fondest time, and your most proudest memory at Jackson State?
My most proudest memory, coming out of the hospital, being carried by some of these men that are in here today because I couldn't walk. Because my son, Shador, had told me, I need you. I think we were playing Southern last year. And it was cold, inclement weather was crazy. But I told my son I'd be there. And I made it. Weak, frail as ever, probably 30 pounds down, cold. And the game wasn't going our way, but I knew we were going to win. I never flinched. And he brought us back. And then Shiloh had the game clinching interception. And I look at the scoreboard and we had 21 points on it. That was God. This is just a God moment. That probably, in the pandemania, it was crazy. It was crazy the way our fans reacted, and we won there. Unfortunately, a few guys got suspended for fighting or whatever they were doing. But that was probably my most fondest memory. Never forget that.
Coach Prime, Vaughn Wilson from HBCU Gameday. Coach, just a few yards from here, you made your name and built the Georgia Dome. It's no longer there, but how fitting would it be just a few yards away for you to win your first collegiate championship?
It's going to be fitting. It's going to be fitting, and I'm thankful that God would choose this city for us to do so. Hats off to the Celebration Bowl, and you guys do a good job. HBCU Game Day does a wonderful job. Yes.
Well, thank
Y'all
you.
heard that. Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that. You heard
I'm
that.
flattered.
You heard that. That's nice.
I mean, we can just leave now.
Right.
We can
Show's
leave.
over. That's all we wanted y'all to see this whole
That was
time.
nice, real nice, man. I appreciate him doing that. That was what's up.
Yeah, unprompted. We didn't have to pay or anything. But seriously, it's an exciting time. We are less than less than 24 hours away from the game. Jackson State, North Carolina Central. We've heard from the coaches. We talked about the teams. Let's get down right now, guys, to the point of attack, where it's all going to happen or it's all going to fall apart, and that is the play of the quarterbacks. Now, these are very similar quarterbacks, but there are a few categories. Running the ball,
Absolutely.
which could be the difference, or that high-powered arm, slightly more accurate, Shedeur Sanders could be a difference as well. Let's take a look at the breakdown of Shedeur Sanders. What was hyped at one point, seriously or not, as a Heisman-esque start to the year.
I was on that train. I was on that train, and I laid it out fairly simple. I thought that if he was able to put together 4,000-plus yards, 40-plus passing touchdowns, single-digit interceptions, and lead his team to an undefeated season, I thought that would be a great recipe for him to be a Heisman candidate. I thought that it should at least made a conversation, not necessarily meaning that it could have led him to it. Fell a little short of that in the 3,400 passing yards range, but that's still big-time numbers.
Right.
When you look right there, you got those 5 numbers on the screen, those bullet points. Which one of those is most impressive to you?
To me, it's the total offense. Man, that is incredible. 298.7, that is incredible. When you look at an offense's ability to be either balanced or kind of heavily weighted to one thing or another, you hope the numbers show that. And you will hope that those numbers showing that leads to victories, leads to efficiency, leads to, high-powered offenses and high-powered stats and just great driving offenses. And what Shedeur has shown all season is I don't have to beat you over the top. I don't have to throw the ball all pretty, 50-yard passes all in the air, spinning real pretty like the little Giants. I've got to, I just got to keep it simple. What you give me, I take. And can I do that efficiently enough and consistently enough in the game to be able to put enough yards on the field, to put enough points on the board, and to lead my offense to a win? And he's shown he's the best at being able to do that.
I was kind of looking at the 26 completions. That's a lot of completed passes.
What's jumping out to me is the 3,400, I think 5 or 6, don't want to cheat him any yards, passing yards, 409 passing yards on the almost 70% completion rate. That is exceptional because he's throwing that ball around and he's doing it accurately 70% of the time. Usually when you see those high numbers, it's a lot of interceptions in there. It's a low completion rate, but he's doing it, like he said, taking what the defense is giving him, and 7 out of 10 of his passes are being completed.
All right, a little bit of contrast here. Davius Richard. We'll take a look at his numbers here in a second. He has every bit the arm, but is it more about the choices that he makes or what's given to him? Because we see he is a little bit of a more efficient runner, maybe more effective. See his numbers there on the screen. You look at those 5 bullet points. What jumps out the most to you about Davius?
Man, for me, it's those 691 rushing yards, and that's honest. This offense is, if I could say, a polar opposite than what Jackson State's offense is. It's just about completely different. It's much more balanced.
Get to the same destination,
They
38
get to the
points.
same destination
Right.
and victories, 38 points and W's. But ultimately, they do it a little different at 1801 Fayetteville Street. It's being able to let the run create the foundation of the offense, and then allowing the pass to come over as a complement to the run. Rather than in Jackson, they want to let the pass kind of set the precedent, let the run be a complement to the pass. And it all makes for the same amount of points. It all makes up for the same result. But ultimately, Davius Richard is the perfect quarterback for a balanced offense. You talk about 691 rushing yards, over 2,400 passing yards. You combine those numbers, they're similar to the same as far as for the total passing yards that Shedeur had. I think one of the rushing stats that I've seen is Shedeur had less than 200 rushing yards this season. So he was much more of a passer than he was a balanced kind of combined quarterback. Davius utilizes a little bit of both to be able to get to a similar total number. And it also results in the same kind of touchdown scores.
Looking like Jalen Hurts over there.
Right. I like it. I like the dual threat quarterback. And when, like we said, on third down, when you got so many options on third down versus a quarterback like Shador, when you get in a tight crunch, you're going to know most of the time he's not going to. You don't have to account for him running the ball most of the time. But with Davius, there's so much trick things that you can do when you have a quarterback that is a dual threat like Davius is. But I want to ask you this question. It came up in your HBCU Nightly conversation on Twitter. You know, I'm going to give you your plug. Is there any concern, let's say the Eagles do get down in the game, is there any concern that, you know, Davius might not be able to pass his way to get the Eagles back in the game?
I think that is a compliment to the coaching staff, is we don't necessarily believe that they have to pass their way back into a game. You're talking about a situation where, in the Campbell game where we got down two scores, in that game, and Trey Oliver said it himself earlier in his presser this week, he said we got outside of our character. In moments where we should have run the ball and put ourselves in a situation to make it a one-possession game in the fourth quarter, we started trying to use the pass to try to get us back in the game fairly quickly, and that's always a recipe for disaster. Any team that gets down early, if you know that you can run the ball, don't get outside your character. So absolutely, I think that they have the ability to kind of fight back, but it's gonna be a hard track. They'll have to utilize what they do best, which is run the ball, and then let those backs and let Davius Richard kind of set the tone, calm the settle the waters, and then kind of play a much more strategic game to get back in that game, rather than trying to throw the ball and try to go over the top with it and take risks where you don't have to.
I am so ready for our predictions, but we will wait one momento. This will be the final game for Deion Sanders, head coach at Jackson State University. He has had an immense impact on HBCU football and culture in the last few seasons, but he has left a trail of tears in some areas, if you want to be honest.
A river of tears.
I'm trying to downplay it. There are a lot of people happy for Coach Sanders. There are a lot of people that are upset, and they are grieving right now. But I don't think anyone can deny the impact that he has had on the game. What, Symone, would be a big takeaway for you when you think back on these 3 seasons? That spring season does count. They did keep records. What's the big takeaway for you for Deion Sanders' time at Jackson State?
Definitely the recruiting, because when he came in, the biggest thing he kept saying was, I'm going to recruit, I'm going to recruit, I'm going to recruit. And we saw with Travis Hunter, a guy who was committed to Florida State University, being able to flip him, a 5-star, the top recruit in the country, and bring him to an HBCU. All the eyes were not only on Jackson State, but on HBCU football as a whole. That is super impressive to me.
Takeaway for you, Josh.
I mean, we're talking 3 seasons. In 3 seasons, Coach Prime was able to come into what I delicately always like to refer to, this thing of ours, and set it on fire. Whether it's from recruiting, whether it's from challenging some of us who come from this and may not have been maybe didn't take it as importantly as we probably should have. Poked some buttons, made some people feel uncomfortable. And I think he showed how important the best of us, as it pertains to this game, how important they can be to our game and to this thing of ours if we're just willing to welcome them in. And so Coach Prime, for me, going to Colorado, taking his talents to Boulder, means just the kind of end of an era. We'll see very soon here how quickly we will be able to adjust to what's going to be left when he leaves to go to Boulder. And did we take enough notes? Did we do enough in the time while we were there to be able to make sure we secured our HBCUs and put them in the right perspective and position?
You know, I try to look at the brighter side of things. Are we going to miss him? Of course. You know how many page views HBCU Gameday had in the first 16 days of December?
2 million?
2 million.
I felt like I was getting quizzed.
You were. You'll get a check this
I
month.
do read the Slack. Yes, I do.
I clearly remember, Josh, when I was happy we had 2 million in a year.
Absolutely.
Like the impact he has had. And I think it has provided a great SWOT analysis.
Absolutely.
Like this thing of ours. I love that. I just stole it. It's like we say we want all these things.
Absolutely.
All right, but how do you maintain it? How do you keep it sustainable? What did people learn about, hey, maybe we should do this way and not that way? Yeah. I saw in my Facebook timeline, you know, a day after he accepts the job at Colorado, there's Prime gear branded with Colorado instantly in my Facebook feed, like just there. And I think I asked people, like, did Jackson State do that? And, maybe to a degree they did,
Absolutely.
but, you learn the lessons of how you take advantage of this opportunity. So I think, this thing of ours, we probably dropped the ball here or there. We did some great things as well, but if you want to be in that space, because what he did is he elevated it from a football game to a space in entertainment.
Absolutely.
He was a big driving force in that. And not to say he's the only one, but he was leading the pack.
Absolutely.
If you want to be in entertainment and just more than football, there's a lot that comes along with that.
Most definitely.
There's responsibility that comes with that success. So I think it was a great learning opportunity. I wish he would have stayed 15 years, but I didn't ever think that was going to happen.
Neither did I. Wishful thinking, but no, I didn't think he was going to stay 15 years.
All right, speaking of wishful thinking, give me my theme music. Come on, Jacob, give us some music here because it is prediction time.
You just ready to joke and clown on me.
Because I didn't make any predictions. I wasn't even supposed to be here.
And Josh, your team better
Neely was
not
supposed
make
to
me
be
look
here.
crazy.
So I have no
On
prediction.
my prediction.
I have no prediction. I will take Neely's
I've
prediction.
been drinking that Kool-Aid you've been selling on.
Who wants to go first?
Let him go first.
Josh.
I mean, it's
All
pretty.
right, your prediction.
It's pretty obvious where I'm going. I mean, North Carolina Central has an opportunity tomorrow to show again why the MEAC has a better brand of football. I'm just talking about
They'll get more time to practice for the game.
You know what I mean? You get a month,
Right.
man.
Right.
I mean, it's just the truth. But not from a brandability standpoint. We're not talking about the physical component here. But we're talking specifically just how we play ball in the MEAC. You know I'm going 1801 Fayetteville Street tomorrow. 28-21, North Carolina Central. We will end this, I don't even know what to call it, that we have here in Atlanta. We tried last year against Alcorn to try to right the ship. That didn't help. But we will be able to get it done this year.
I like the way you rubbed it in on Coach Prime. You gave him 21 points on the way out the door.
Take it on the way with you. Take it to Colorado with you.
All right, Symone, you've been dreading this. I've been looking forward to it.
I never do score predictions. This is out of my character. I never like doing score predictions, but I did it for y'all. And again, Josh.
Oh, look at y'all.
He's been selling all this stuff about the Eagles. I've been buying it.
Yo, I'm lost for words, man. I did not expect
Well,
this.
last time I picked Jackson State in the Celebration Bowl, it didn't work out for me. So, let me go with the MEAC. They've been doing it. So
Did you put money on that game or something?
No.
'Cause you feel like you're really hurt. Like
no, I'm just saying, the MEAC has been winning the Celebration Bowl. So
proud of you.
I'm a roll with the hot hand. That's what you do.
I'm proud of you.
All right.
Don't let me down, Josh, because like I said,
Listen, my eligibility is up. I can't let you down. It's on them.
y'all were giving the guys their pregame speech and all that. Give them a good one.
Got you.
Don't embarrass me on this.
All right, we're not going to get out of here with two people and nobody saying that Jackson State is going to win the game. I did not make a prediction, but Neely did. Neely sent in his prediction. So I am going to take Neely's prediction and I'm going to explain why
Disrespectful.
Neely is right, because he was right all year long. He not only gets it on the final, he gets it on the point spread. Come on, some more theme music. Come on, man. This is Jackson State time. Need some more music here. Let's go. Jackson State 42. What is this 21 stuff? They might score 21 before the band starts playing. Jackson State 42, North Carolina Central 17. I'm gonna give y'all boys 17.
I'm a Carolina girl, Tyler.
I am.
You are too? I got to ride with the Carolina team.
74, I'm a North Carolina kid, but I see what I see.
Neely.
And I saw what I saw from the Eagles this season. And Davius Richard, like I said, I'm going with the dual threat.
All right, let's do this before we go. We got our studio audience here, the rest of the HBCU Game Day crew. All right, Game Day crew. If you think North Carolina Central is going to win, make some noise.
Louder, please.
Okay.
They gotta pick up on it.
Okay, if you're being held hostage, blink twice. That sounded a little forced.
Can we get some energy?
Wally blinked.
All right, if Jackson State is going to win, Game Day crew that you don't see off camera, make some noise.
Okay, one more time for the Central people.
I do it like they do in Central. They know what we do.
So that was mixed down the middle.
God.
Womp, womp, womp.
They're playing journalists over
It's all good.
They're just going down the middle.
We just appreciate the support, man. Thank y'all.
You just wanted to embarrass me. I'm so embarrassed.
Of course. Exactly. That's what I wanted to do. All right. I know the comments are on fire. Hey, tomorrow we're going to do a post-game show. Symone will be here as well. I might swing through. We're
You
going to talk
will.
more about our Player of the Year. It's that time of the year where we name our HBCU Game Day Protect Your Skull Players of the Year. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. I'll give you a little hint. If you go to the website, you can probably get the inside scoop on that, hbcugameday.com. All right, you getting ready for tomorrow? You sticking with the Eagles?
I'm not loyal to any one of these teams, so
I mean, that's your prediction.
I'm gonna stick with my prediction. I'm gonna stick beside it. Like I said, Carolina girl.
All right. One key thing that you're going to circle, no matter who wins tomorrow, on the stat sheet, what's the one area you think whoever wins this battle will win the game? One thing.
Third down conversion. Third down conversion.
It's the best third down converting team against the best stopping you from converting on third down team.
It's going to happen on third down tomorrow. That's going to be incredible. Both of those teams lead the country, and what you just said, third down conversions on offense for North Carolina Central. Your ability to stop third downs for Jackson State. So that's where the game is going to be won, is third down. Can you convert third downs from our offensive standpoint? Can Jackson State stop us on third down? And that's going to base whether we keep a drive going, whether the drive stops, and we got to punt the ball, and we put the ball back in Shedeur Sanders' hands.
All right. Good job, man.
Thank you.
Good job,
Appreciate
Symone. I'm trying to give you a little love first.
Oh, there it is.
Take us home, Symone.
All right, guys, we are in ATL again where the players play. We'll see who will come out on top as the big dogs tomorrow. The Eagles been flying under the radar all season long, and the Tigers have been doing nothing but making noise. Two dynamic quarterbacks. We'll see who comes out on top. This is HBCU Game Day in Atlanta, as always, but this weekend for the Celebration Bowl. Thank you guys so much for joining us.